Hey, today's topic is singing games. Now, singing games are a really great way to help students feel comfortable, to sing without the teacher singing. If you give the rule, like, I won't be your radio, you have to provide the music. And they're really wonderful for helping students learn to work together, kind of creating a little bit of teamwork and a little bit of bond, which at the beginning of the year is super important. And I'm recording this, it's August, so a lot of people are in back to school mode. Um, Today's games, there's 6 of them. So K5, there's one for each grade. And these are some of like the best engaging games, ones that you can bring back for other topics. And I thought I would share them with you. So first up, I've got Grizzly Bear. Um, and I'll put the music up so you can see all of the music as I'm doing these. Grizzly Bear is a really great game for loud and quiet. You can bring it back for ta rest, like so quarter rest in first grade. And this one's lovely in particular because it's not just a very limited range. This one has um, like low T below do all the way up to so. So it's a nice range, but it's not too much for your kindergarten students. But it's nice to have a little bit of variety in the melody they're hearing. So this is one of those games that's great for that. So here's how it goes. A grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. A grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you shake him, he gets very mad. Now, I didn't do the big, huge volume change just because I've got the little microphone on and I didn't want to like blow out anybody's ears if you've got headphones on. But you get the idea. So you've got one student, they're in the center, they're covering their eyes, and at the very end of the song, they kind of like pop up and point to somebody with their eyes closed, and that person gets to be the new bear. Um, but that's a great game for kindergarten. It gets them really excited, and you can bring it back for first grade ta rest. So my first grade game is Apple Tree, and Apple Tree is a favorite. There's a lot here. You can bring this one back for do, but it's great for ta titi. And you can even use it with your kindergartners for steady beat and rhythm when they're kind of working on that, the difference between steady beat and rhythm. But I don't like to play the game with kindergarten in particular. Like I just kind of introduce a song as like, oh, we're talking about apples, and then you can kind of slide into something else apple themed or fall themed. Um, and then that way when you bring it back in first grade, it's like, oh, there's a game too. Um, this one's easy and it's pretty simple. Apple tree, will your apples fall on me? I won't cry and I won't shout if your apple knocks me out. And it ends on that low do, which is great to bring back in second grade because the rest of it's just nice so la mi patterns. So for this one, you've got 2 students. They create like a little arch with their hands, and like one person stands underneath them, and then everybody else kind of forms a circle with that one person who's underneath the tree. And you sing, they walk through, they just kind of keep circling, and at the very end, gently bring your arms down. Don't smack anybody. If you smack somebody on the head, you won't get to play the game. You have to give them that one. And then that person becomes part of the tree. So like then you have a 3-person tree. And I've seen variations on this. What I like to do is I like to have everybody join the tree because they kind of get a little more involved. And then you have students, like as the tree gets bigger, you catch more kids. So they can't kind of like hide and sort of try to hold back. It's a lot harder for them to do that. Something you can do to kind of make it even a little more interactive is as the tree gets bigger, they have to weave in and out of all of the branches. They're not just like walking through like one little arch. And that one's really fun. My kids have loved that one, and it's good to bring back in second grade for do. Button You Must Wander is my second grade song, and I'm sure you've come across this one before. It's pretty popular. It's one of those first like passing games that you introduce to students. So you do the like pick up and pass, pick up and pass, and then help them get on the beat that way, and then they can start working on the actual passing. When you're teaching a passing game, make sure they can do the motion on the beat before you introduce the item that needs to be passed. This one, it's very simple rhythm. It's ta, ti, ti, ta, rest. There's not really much in terms of rest. It's really just at the end of the second and the fourth phrases. And it's just do, re, mi, so, la. So it's a nice little pentatonic song. Button, you must wander, wander, wander. Button, you must wander everywhere. Bright eyes will find you, sharp eyes will find you. Button, you must wander everywhere. So you have the button that's in everybody's left, it's in a left hand, and you're passing with your right. The key is that everybody is passing and making it look like they're passing. Like, don't just like flop your hand over, tell your students, because then it becomes really easy for that person in the center to figure out who has the button. So you'll make sure your hand is in a cup and that you're kind of hiding, even if you don't have anything. And then at the end of the song, the person who is in the center gets 3 chances to guess who has the button. And like I said, this one's really good for second grade. I use it with the introduction of Ray, and that's usually what I've used this one for. I don't really bring it back for any sort of rhythmic elements because I'm not introducing that passing game to first graders. And really the rhythms in here are first grade rhythms. Although I will say this one would be really fun if you have students that are like older beginners to sort of like the Kodály method. This one's a really wonderful one you might want to use because you've got that ta, ti, ti, and then the rest. You can use it for the rhythmic elements, but your older students are going to latch on to the fact that it's not like a little kid sounding song. There's a game that's a little more complicated to it. They definitely know it's not for little children. So this is a great one for older beginners if you're using the Kodály method. Third grade. This one's a really funny game, and I've loved playing this one because students immediately, like when you play a game, you have students that immediately want to be it. Like they're going to go first. It's me. It is my game. I'm going to win this. And you introduce this as a game, and you've got those kids that want to go first. And in the end, they're the ones that are like, why did I go first? Which I feel like is a good life lesson at some point for some of these kids that just like they have to be first for everything. So this one's called Round and Round, and this one is it's great for T ticka, so 8th note and 2 16th note patterns. And it's another pentatonic song, so it's fairly easy there. This one I use more for rhythmic purposes. So round and round we must go. Boom, makalele, chi-chi, boom. Down, Miss Mary, you must go. Boom, makalele, chi-chi, boom. And then you can have, the kids, instead of Miss Mary, you change out for, down Miss Stauffer, down whatever their name is. So once you get to the end of the song, like where you say their name, the student whose name is called, they're all holding hands, walking in a circle, and that student has to like bend down so that they're kind of like walking low to the ground and still hold hands. So they're kind of like having to crouch and walk. So this is where like being that first person has become something they might not wanted to have done. And they realize as they're going around the classroom and you've got 25 30 35 kids doing this that I shouldn't have volunteered to go first, and then called all of my friends names. So it just becomes kind of funny, and the kids always get a good laugh out of this one. And I just think this game is funny. And so do the kids. And I've had kids ask for this again after they know how the game is played, so that they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be last. And it's just funny to watch how it plays out. So that's a fun one. And it's great if you have like some outside time. And it's nice because there's not a lot of, it's very engaging, but you don't need a lot of things or anything to make it engaging quickly for the students. Like, it's very easy to understand, especially at the beginning of the year. My fourth grade game is Al Citron. And please excuse any incorrectness in my pronunciations. If I'm wrong ever, please just, hey, leave me a comment and say, hey, this was pronounced this way instead of that way, because I'd rather do it correctly. But so this one is great for fourth grade. It's got low so in it, so that's where I tend to use this. Maybe in third grade, if you're doing low so, you can do this with them. But it's also great because it's got tam T in it, so that is dotted quarter eighth note patterns. So Al citron de un fandango, sango, sango, sabare, sabare, de la rondella con su tricky, tricky tron. And this one is a passing game, and you use sticks for this. Rhythm sticks are perfect for this, and you have the sticks in front of you sort of vertically instead of horizontally, sitting in a circle. And it starts with pick up on Al C, like so Al citron, and tron is on the pass. So Al citron de un fandango. So they're passing on the first beat, because this is in 2/4. And you hold on to it, and or you passing it, and at the very end where it's tricky, tricky tron, you actually hold on to it. So it's tap, tap, pass. And that's where it kind of gets tricked up for people. Like it'll confuse a group of music teachers the first couple times you try it. And then eventually you want to speed up, so you can see if you can speed it up. If you want to play this as an elimination game, you can eliminate anybody who had a problem with the passing issue, like if they don't have a stick at the end, or if they were the child that like messed up. You can eliminate them that way, and then start a second circle so that they're engaged still and doing something. And this is a really fun passing game that you can do with your fourth graders. Now, my last game is, this is actually probably one of my favorite games to play. And I learned this game as at MKMEA. It was like the very first time I went to MKMEA in like 2017. And it was one of my first Kodály experiences outside of Michigan. So Michigan has a very small chapter, and I think I've talked about that before. There's only a few of us, although we are getting bigger, and I'm so excited about that. But it was my first experience with like a lot of people that sort of teach this way, and it was one of the first sessions I went to, and we're playing this game, and I thought it was like an absolute hoot, and I like this one just gives me like the warm fuzzies, even though it's like ridiculous. So it's Who Stole My Chickens and My Hens. If you isolate phrases 1, 2, and 4, it's great for Timka, which is dotted 8th note, 16th note. And the reason phrase 3 has kind of like a little bit of a tricky rhythm where it's got like a dotted quarter. So you want to isolate if you're using that for reading, but you can use that for like a little bit of a challenge with 5th graders. Like, can you figure out how you would say this in rhythm? But you wouldn't want to use that phrase for like a presentation lesson. So, melodically, it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. So you've got them all right in a row. So this is great for fa. Who stole my chickens and my hens? Who stole my chickens and my hens? Who stole my chickens and who stole my hens? Who stole my chickens and my hens? So you can see that little rhythm pattern there. So there are 3 levels for this one. And this is a double circle game where partners are facing each other. So the inside circle is facing out and the outside circle is facing in. So the first level is level 1, and this is just sort of like a little beat passing. So it's knees, clap, right, clap, left, clap, both, clap. And you're just doing that with your partner. Level 2, and I actually think 2 is harder than 3. So you're going to put your left elbow out like this, like up in the air, and you're gonna put your right hand up. So you're kind of switching, and you have to like cup your neighbor's elbow, and then it switches. So it's just going back and forth like this. I lied. Elbow, clap, clap, clap. I forgot the clap, I'm sorry. And for me, that one, the coordination of that one really messes with me. And level 3 is you're gonna hold out a cupped hand, and that there's grain in there, and you're gonna, with your right hand, pick from your neighbor's cup and eat it, and then switch. So this one for me is easier, and I'm not sure why. Once you learn the patterns, then you can incorporate the 2 things that make this more difficult. So the first one is, of course, that you can speed up a little bit. And then the other one is that you can use these calls called GEE, G-E-E, and HAW, H-A-W. And these are actually, I did not know this. I'm from Michigan. I grew up in Metro Detroit. GEE and HAW are actually livestock calls that people use, and I did not know that until I went to Pflugerville last year and they told me about it. So thank you to the teachers of Pflugerville who taught me that. So the person who is out, like if you have a student, like if you have an uneven number, you can let one of these kids be the caller. And if not, you can do this. So if you yell out GEE, you have to move one person to the right. And if it's HAW, you move one person to the left. So now you're switching partners as well. And then it becomes just hilariousness. And that's why this is definitely a game for your older students. You can use this with older, like 6, 7, 8 as well, would probably get a kick out of this if you're looking for games that are good for middle school students. And you could probably use Al Citron with older students as well. It's a little more difficult. So something that's going to really engage that upper age group. So those are my 6 songs that I think will be really wonderful for you for this kind of back to school season where you really want to get your students involved and singing, and just really like, I'm in this, like they are all in. Like this is a great way to engage them and get them all in at the beginning of the year. Create that buy-in of, hey, this can be fun. Especially if you have a lot of new students or students that don't know what you're about yet. So I hope that these games can really serve a purpose for you and fulfill some needs in your classroom. If you get a lot out of my videos, I would love it if you hit subscribe or like or share this video. And thank you so much for watching and sticking with me for this long.